Alright, in case nobody recognizes this thing, it's a coffee maker. It is a Hamilton Beach brew station. And I've had this thing for, oh man, years. And my water has a lot of lime in it, so I have to keep running vinegar through my coffee makers and, well, everything. Anything that I have that uses water, I have to clean lime out of, like, constantly. And so anyways, this thing here got to the point where the last time I ran the vinegar through it, cleaned it and everything, that lasted about 3 to 4 days or whatever, and then it started not working very well again. So what it does is it'll start leaving water in the reservoir, and after a while you're only making like half a pot of coffee with full pot strength. So alright, in the bottom of this thing you got two Phillips, which takes a number 2 Phillips screwdriver, and then there's two of these, I call them safety Torxes. They've got that little stud in the middle, and what they are is N10H Torx. And take those out. And then this bottom piece lifts off of here, and you can see your heating element, little safety deal there, and all that kind of stuff. But it looks like I've got to get into it a little bit more further than that, so I'm going to see what we have to do. Okay, to remove the next section, you got 2 screws in the front on the top, right in front of the burner plate, and then on the bottom there's four little holes in here, and those go to 4 more Phillips screws. And it'll take every bit of this, it took every bit of this screw. Actually the one that looked like it was going to be the shortest path was the longest one, and that's probably about a 5-inch blade. So yeah, you need at least 5-inch blade screwdriver to get down in there or whatever. And then this should look out of there, but it looks like something else in the way, so hold on. Nope, it was just stuck from all the years of coffee buildup on this little lip here, so I just had to kind of work with this little serve button and then work with it and got it off of there. Alright, now this is the part here that I'm sure I've got to deal with as far as being plugged up. So if I can get this here disassembled from here, and I can pull this little electrical thermostat off of there, I think that's just a safety so that if it gets too hot it shuts her off. But and pull that off of there, and this is your hot plate here that keeps your coffee warm. That's all that is. And once I get that off there, then I'm going to get whatever tubes I can that the coffee goes through, which would be these orange rubber tubes, and they probably don't have any lime. And then there's this aluminum piece here, and then there's a little plastic tube that comes up here and runs your automatic drip. I'm going to get those and try to soak those in vinegar. Well, I was trying to slow myself down so I could keep up with the camera, but I got a little bit carried away. On this part here, this separated from the bottom of this by a bunch of little screws all the way around here. They're all Phillips screws. And then there was a bracket here that doesn't really have to come off, but I took that off. This thing's unplugged. I'm going to have to clip these wires and keep track of the color code. Actually, it's not too hard to keep track of the color code. Of your power coming in, you got your 2 black conductors from your power cord, and one goes to your circuit board, and your circuit board comes back out and feeds this hot plate. It's got to go through the electronic controls, and so one leg of your black has to go to that white wire coming out, which doesn't matter which leg of this goes to it. The other one then goes to your bundle of black wires, which is your other leg of your AC voltage. So out of your controls, they color matched for your heating tube, red to red and blue to blue. So that'll be pretty easy to keep straight. And there's only 4 of these I got to clip. The 5th one can stay together. So and that'll pull all that apart, and we should be good to go. And there's one more tube that goes to the top of this thing here. It's this white tube in here. And that was held in place or connected to this ring that snapped on the top. And I thought that was zoomed in. I don't know. Just my must have bumped it. Anyways, this here you have to put your one piece up in your lid or to reassemble it, I guess. To take it apart, you unsnap this and then you have to pull it out of your lid, your diverter or whatever you want to call that. And there's just a bunch of snaps around there. You just, in the back you can get a screwdriver started on the one to the, if you're facing the front of the unit, it'd be the one on the right hand side. And once you get that loose, just snap it all the way around off one side and then work it out of the other side. And that's that. One thing I thought I'd show you is when I crimp off these crimp style wire nuts, basically what I do is I put my cutter right on the middle there of the crimp, cut it in two, and then you can usually pull that crimp off and you still have a little bit of stripped wire on there. You'll have to strip it a little bit further, but you keep quite a bit of your length. You're only going to have to strip maybe another 1/8 of an inch off of that, so to lose an 1/8 of an inch of wire length is nothing. And then I like to replace them with the same thing they had on there, which is these crimp caps in this case, and I've got a supply of those, so that's what I'll put back on. Well, what I ended up with is these are the only two parts that actually have to be soaked in bleach and vinegar. And then I got these parts here, which I won't do anything to them. I'll just, when I get everything else ready, then I'll just reassemble it. These will be ready to go back on. And then I've got all the plastic major parts, and I'm going to soak those in a dishwater solution with some bleach in it and try to get those as clean and everything as possible. And then like some of this that's got lime on it, I'll probably take, and actually this right here, I just noticed it, this here gets soaked in the vinegar. Almost looks like maybe the top pops off of this. I'll have to check that out. If the top pops off of this here, then I might be able to clean it without soaking it, but if not, I'll just soak it. So anyways, that's all that's getting soaked and in the vinegar, and that's pretty much it. Once I get everything ready to go, I'll do a reassembly on it and we'll test it and see how it works. Okay, I'm getting ready to put the coffee maker back together, and these parts are all clean, and this here I let dry in front of the heater vent overnight. And the only thing else that was soaked, I guess, well, there were several things soaked, but nothing else had any electronics to it, so they didn't have to be a concern as far as dryness. And all the black plastic parts are all clean and look almost like new. And they're ready to go back. And so we'll start getting everything back together and see if this thing works. That goes in there. That goes in there. And we got a coffee maker again. So now let's take it out and run the old vinegar through it, and we'll find out if that'll even run through it or not. Just to see. Okay. Just a little bit of water, so it didn't take forever. And does the switch work at all? Sure does. Alright. Here goes nothing. Making its usual sound. So the analogy is it actually works. Even the switch that's about hanging halfway out of it As you can see, it's actually making coffee, or water in this case. It would be coffee if it wasn't just water. But so I'm going to go ahead and run a pot of vinegar through it, and then a pot of coffee, and dump the coffee, and then tomorrow or whenever it'll be ready to go again. Okay, this thing will make me a cup of coffee. Hey, look at that. A cup of coffee, and it's even still perking. It smells like coffee, but I'm not going to drink it because I know it's going to taste like vinegar, so I'll drink the one I make in the morning. Thanks for watching.